Remember when the MTV Video Music Awards actually mattered? Like, cancel your plans and text the group chat, "It's happening. Don't talk to me for the next 3 hours." Back then, the VMAs weren't just a show, they were a pop culture apocalypse. Madonna tongued Britney like it was a religious ritual. Yes, Christina was there too, but let's be honest, the camera said nah. Gaga bled out on stage like a glam rock martyr. And Kanye ripped the mic from Taylor's hands like he was disarming a bomb.
Let you finish, but Beyonce had one of the best videos of all time.
Or planting one. These weren't just viral moments, they were culture shocks that rewired your brain. Twitter collapsed in on itself, MSN froze, BBM kicked half your contacts offline, group chats went full jungle mode, and the next day at school, math was canceled. This was the curriculum. But now, the VMAs have the cultural footprint of a Facebook poke. You remember it existed, but try explaining why to someone. Be honest, did you even know they still happen? There was a time when the VMAs actually felt alive. You never really knew what you were walking into. A fashion meltdown on the red carpet, a surprise performance that no one saw coming, or a fight brewing somewhere backstage.
This bitch that had a lot to say about me the other day in the press, Miley, what's good?
Sometimes people blew up overnight. Sometimes they blew it live. And let's be honest, the chaos behind the scenes, that was the real reason we kept watching. But something shifted. The VMAs didn't get canceled. It didn't implode. It just faded quietly. So no, we're not just asking if the VMAs died, we're asking how they managed to bury themselves alive. Let's dig up the rise and the beautifully bizarre, meme-worthy fall of the VMAs. Let's rewind to 1984. MTV was still wild, still about music, and someone pitched an idea no one could have predicted. Let's put Madonna on stage in a wedding dress and see what happens. She rolled on the floor, moaned into the mic, and Middle America collectively fainted. It wasn't just a performance, it was a cultural earthquake, and that set the tone. In 1991, Prince showed up in a lace bodysuit with the entire backside missing. In 1995, Courtney Love crashed Madonna's interview by throwing her purse at her. By '99, Lil' Kim had one breast out and Diana Ross gave it a jiggle on live TV. Then came the 2000s, peak VMA chaos. Eminem marched in with a literal army of Slim Shadys. Jim Carrey accepted an award in some kind of cult leader outfit, and of course the Kiss, Britney, Madonna, Christina, a pop culture detonation. These weren't planned viral moments. They were accidents, glorious, unfiltered, unforgettable accidents. You didn't just watch the VMAs, you planned around them. You argued about them, you memorized them, and you never knew what would happen next. That was the point. Even the MTV Movie Awards had the same chaotic spirit. Lindsay Lohan ad-libbed her way through costume changes, and Tom Cruise, as Les Grossman, did a full routine with the Black Eyed Peas. It didn't always make sense, but it didn't need to. The VMAs weren't trying to impress anyone. They were weird, loud, impulsive, and that's exactly why we cared. But like all golden ages, it couldn't last forever. It didn't collapse overnight. The VMAs didn't explode, they eroded, quietly, like glitter rinsed down a drain. You didn't even realize it was happening until the sparkle was gone. The first real crack? MTV stopped playing music videos. We joked about it at first, music television that doesn't play music.
Get over, like you was like, I'm the captain now.
By the early 2000s and 10s, the joke had become the brand. Music video blocks disappeared. Shows like Teen Mom, Catfish, The Hills, and Jersey Shore became the face of the network. By 2015, MTV was averaging less than 3 hours of music per day. Music wasn't the main event anymore, it was background noise. And like a mirror reflecting the network's priorities, the VMAs followed suit. Performances that once felt like barely contained chaos started looking like marketing rollouts. The danger was gone. The spontaneity vanished. Even the production had this sterile shine to it, as if chaos had been planned 6 months in advance and reviewed by legal. Take 2014. Ariana Grande, Nicki Minaj, Jessie J, a powerhouse trio. On paper, a showstopper. In practice, lip sync issues, awkward transitions, a wardrobe malfunction that was clearly not part of the script. It didn't feel unhinged. It felt like the Wi-Fi was lagging on a YouTube ad. Even the hosts stopped being part of the fun. There was a time when Chris Rock would torch the audience so hard, A-listers pretended to laugh while scanning for exits.
He said I took more shots to the face than Janet Jameson, man.
Sarah Silverman made jokes that were offensive, brilliant, and unforgettable, all in one sentence.
They're as cute as the hairless vagina they came out of.
Now, you get Kevin Hart doing PR-friendly intros, or influencers you only recognize from a TikTok stitch awkwardly reading off a teleprompter like it's their first live event. There's a big difference between edgy and algorithm approved. The VMAs used to be the first. Now they're sponsored by the second, and audiences felt it, not loudly, but deeply. The hype wasn't angry, it just disappeared. Less conversation, fewer memes, no Monday morning arguments. Even Kanye West saw it coming. Back in 2015, during one of his last VMA appearances, he said, "I still don't understand award shows. I don't understand how they get 5 people who work their entire life to come, stand on a carpet, and for the first time in their life be judged on the chopping block and have the opportunity to be considered a loser."
I still don't understand award shows.
That wasn't bitterness. It was foreshadowing. What followed was a slow motion fade out. The red carpet still existed, the lights were still on, the camera was still rolling, but the soul was somewhere else, probably scrolling TikTok. And then came the moment where it became official. It wasn't a scandal, it wasn't a meltdown. It was Addison Rae standing on stage, not to perform, not to receive an award, but just to read a line off a screen and be there. A TikToker known for dancing to someone else's song was now representing the future of music. And not with irony, with intent. That wasn't just a bad booking, that was a shift in the foundation, from artistry to engagement, from performance to presence, from what did I just witness to, wait, who is this for? Suddenly, the VMAs weren't leading the culture anymore, they were following it, desperately, clumsily, trying to stay relevant by attaching themselves to anyone who was trending that month, no matter how temporary or contextless. The show used to be where stars were born. Now it's where they cameo before a brand deal goes live. Even the iconic Moon Man got caught in the identity crisis. In 2015, MTV redesigned the statue in partnership with fashion designer Jeremy Scott, covering it in street art patterns and candy colors. The original Moon Man was bold, symbolic, minimal. This new version, it looked like it came with a QR code and a Spotify-wrapped playlist. And then in 2022, the VMAs reached peak simulation. Johnny Depp, mid-trial, mid-cancellation, mid-controversy, appeared as a floating Moon Man hologram, cracking awkward one-liners about needing work. It was weird, uncomfortably so. The kind of moment that makes you double-check if it's a deep fake.
I needed the work.
The internet didn't explode, it just kind of blinked. You could feel it. The show had gone from unpredictable to pre-approved. Even the chaos felt safe. People stopped posting about who won. They started posting, wait, the VMAs happened last night? And the Moon Man, he's no longer a symbol of pop dominance. He's a stage prop holding a flag no one's saluting anymore. You know something's lost when even Twitter, the most divided place on earth, starts agreeing. And the verdict? The VMAs are dead. The internet didn't rage. It didn't celebrate. People weren't even dunking on it anymore. Just posting clips with captions like, "So this is what the VMAs are now, huh?" Or, "Honestly thought this was a parody until I saw the logo." No analysis needed. The vibe is collective resignation, not anger, not protest, just, we're done pretending to care. It's not that people stopped watching, it's that they stopped expecting anything worth seeing. Now clips from the show get stitched on TikTok with people reacting like they've stumbled across a lost artifact. Wait, this is real? I thought this was a parody. That's not snark, that's dissonance. Audiences grew up expecting chaos, unpredictability, moments you had to see live. Now they get beige, safe, manufactured shock. Wrapped in sponsor-approved lighting. Even celebrities look like they're phoning it in. The red carpet gets more attention than the show itself. And when performances do go viral, it's usually because something awkward happened. A weird fall, a censor glitch, or a staged feud no one believes. Meanwhile, the internet creates culture in real time. Unfiltered, unexpected, and relentless. The VMAs used to be the spark. Now they're the afterthought. By the time they try to catch the trend, it's already been memed to death and recycled twice, and people are tuning out, literally. In 2021, the show drew just 900,000 viewers on live television in the US, the lowest number in VMA history. Most people didn't even notice it aired or assumed it already had. Gone are the think pieces, the best moments breakdowns. Now you get headlines like VMAs happened. Here's what you didn't miss. The loudest thing about the show now, the silence that follows it. Let's just say it out loud. Could the VMAs make a comeback? Sure, maybe. If someone high enough up at MTV decided to burn the playbook, if the script got lost, if someone crashed the stage mid-performance and said something completely insane, not for clout, but because they actually meant it. Honestly, maybe that's naive. Maybe there's just no way back once the spark's gone. I don't know. But if there's even a sliver of hope, it starts with breaking the script. Because here's the real problem. The culture moved on. The people who used to plan their whole night around the VMAs, they live on TikTok now, where the best stuff happens by accident. A song blows up because someone's little brother photobombed the dance. A weird glitch, a badly timed fall, a too honest comment, that's where the real moments are now. Unfiltered, unplanned, human. And MTV stayed behind, hoping that booking the biggest follower count equals relevance. Reading from trend decks like they're sacred texts. But followers aren't fans, and viral doesn't mean memorable. You can't fake culture with a sponsored hashtag and a brand safe backdrop. Think back, Madonna, rolling around in a wedding dress, Britney with the snake, Gaga bleeding on stage like she was halfway through a horror opera. It wasn't planned, it wasn't safe, it just happened. It didn't always make sense, it didn't have to. That was the point. That's what's gone now. Not the budget, not the audience, just the guts. Sure, Doja Cat tried something. So did Lil Nas X. They brought weird back for a minute. But one great performance doesn't fix an entire ecosystem designed to be safe.
Bitch, I said what I said. I'd rather be famous instead.
The VMAs used to feel like anything could happen. Now you can almost hear the producer whispering through the earpiece. Play it safe. We've got sponsors watching. Even Gen Z, raised on weirdness and overstimulation, scrolls past VMA clips like they're ads for products they never ordered. One TikTok last year said it best, it's giving influencer networking event with fireworks. And yeah, that about nails it. Maybe the VMAs didn't die with a bang. Maybe they just stopped breathing. Not from one scandal, but from 1,000 little concessions. An extra sponsor, a TikToker in the lineup, a little less music, a little more strategy, until one day the lights came up, and whatever was standing there didn't look like the VMAs anymore. It looked like something about the VMAs, a copy, a simulation. Could it come back? Maybe, but not by chasing relevance, not by recycling chaos from a decade ago and hoping no one notices. If it does come back, it'll be because someone let it get messy again. Like, genuinely messy, not branded awkward, just human. Let someone interrupt a speech and don't cut to commercial. Let a mic stay live even when it gets uncomfortable. Let someone take a risk, even if it crashes and burns. Let us feel something again, even if it's confusion. Until then, we'll keep rewatching clips from the early 2000s. The ones that were raw and loud and probably illegal in some states. We'll laugh at the edits, scroll past whatever new version shows up next year. And if we notice it aired at all, it'll be out of habit, not excitement. Because once the VMAs were the wildest night in pop culture. Now, they're just another ghost in the feed. Oh, and hey, if you enjoyed this deep dive into pop culture decay, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It's free, it's fun, and unlike the VMAs, it still has a pulse.